during the timeout. Emotions running very high on the Laker bench between those two right there. And again, they're being separated. Here's what happens, Stu. Walk us through it.
I don't know what happened. I mean, they sit down. I guess Anthony Davis goes over and is saying something to Dwight. I don't know what happens from there. They end up shoving one another. It's like, this happens throughout the course of a season. It happens in practice. Unfortunately, it happens here where everybody can see it, but it happens all the time in practices for every team.
What's going on, dudes and dudettes? So, yeah, I did get this. Well, both Linda and I did get this brand new Newfound Glory shirt they have going out for Christmas, which is pretty cool. Kind of like a play on the Haunted Mansion from Disneyland, which is pretty awesome. Definitely had to get that. Maybe some of you will see it in person this weekend, Halloween weekend. So yeah, definitely looking forward to that. Hopefully all of y'all stay safe, but let's get into some of this news real quick. It's a little bit, but I'm sure we can get through this under 10 minutes. So 5-star Mykel Williams out of Georgia, who was committed to USC for a bit now. The defensive end has decided to stay in state and go to the University of Georgia, which is not surprising because they are the #1 team in the nation. So kind of think he'd want to stay at home. It sucks. He was USC's best or most highly rated player as of right now coming into next season, even though I thought it was Devontae Jackson, but maybe he was a bit higher overall. So yes, it definitely sucks, but we'll see what we can do. I think they did get they got a commitment from a running back, I think from Oaks Christian, but the next video I'll have more info on that, so wait and see. And then also, sorry, for some reason it's very hard to read. Then Kendrick Nunn of the Lakers, he is being reevaluated for another 2 to 3 weeks, which sucks because everyone kind of assumed he would be back for the start of the season. Looks like it's not happening, so we have to wait once again for one of our young rotational players. Then ex-Duke player Marvin Bagley III, who's been stuck in Sacramento the past couple years. Apparently his agent ripped the Kings the other day for the way they're handling his players' minutes and rotation stuff, and not just getting enough playing time, and I guess perpetuating the fact that he's really injured and stuff. And even though he's been asking for them to trade him, the agent, the Kings apparently don't want to trade him, which is kind of weird, especially if you're not really consistently playing a guy. But he was a 2nd overall pick in that draft, and they probably want a King's ransom for him, even though he's probably not worth it as of right now. But I think if he was on a contending team like the Lakers, he would be very beneficial for them. But I doubt the Kings would try to make a deal with them, since the Lakers botched the last summer's deal with them. So crap for them. Then USC and Notre Dame, yes, they went against each other last Saturday. It was surprisingly close. It was definitely one of the more recent USC games that I've watched almost all the way through, until I can feel once USC got into, I think it was 8 points close in the 4th quarter with about 5 or 6 minutes left. They let Notre Dame pretty much go down the field and score again to go up by 2 scores. So pretty much knew the game was over, because USC was, once again, they were able to move the ball in between like the 20-yard lines, but couldn't get any closer. Missed at least one field goal I know of that I saw. So yes, it sucks to see your team perform like that against their rival, because the other team didn't really seem like they're putting that much effort, even when they lost their top defensive player, who's going to be a top 5 draft pick. USC, I don't think, really took advantage of that. They just kept going to the same player. They did run the ball. Keontae Ingram had a career day on the ground, a couple touchdowns, if not one. Drake London, once again, went off crazy, almost 200 yards receiving. No touchdown, but still played his heart out, and it's all for nothing because the Trojans still end up losing. So sucks for them. Then when it comes to, I swear I cannot read this, Carson Palmer, ex-USC Heisman winning quarterback who played with the Bengals and Arizona in the NFL. He's recently retired, but he did mention on the Dan Patrick show this morning that USC has kind of had their eyes on 4 coaches so far. and they kind of seem to be in the same proximity, at least in the Midwest and East Coast. But he said Mike Tomlin of the Pittsburgh Steelers head coach is high on their list. Also, a guy like Matt Campbell, the Iowa State head coach, who I've been saying for the last 2 or 3 years, obviously, is on their list. James Franklin, the Penn State head coach, but seeing like how his team lost in 9 overtimes this last weekend, it just seems like whether it's him or the people he keeps around him don't know how to finish games, and it could be the same thing at USC. You have a lot of talented players but don't finish. Just a more, I guess, nicer version than Clay Helton. So I kind of don't think they should go after him, but I guess he's on the top 4. Then also there was Luke Fickell, of course, the University of Cincinnati head coach, who has his team number 2 overall in the country, and obviously was hired by the USC athletic director at Cincinnati, Mike Bohm, when he was there. So yeah, those are apparently your top 4. We'll see if any of those come to fruition, but you know me, I love the Matt Campbell choice. It's not a sexy choice, but to me, I think it's the right choice. Then the LA Chargers the other week did sign a wide receiver kick returner in Andre Roberts from the Texans. Looks like he's just going to be a returner for them. Doesn't really have that good of receiving skills, so we'll see how that goes. And then, yes, Devin Brown, the quarterback for USC, who's committed as of right now from Utah, he jumped up like 100 spots in his ranking. Now he's like a top 100 player and the number 5 overall quarterback, which is pretty cool for him, but it does mean that a lot of better teams are going to try to get him, which does suck. And then also Kevin Porter Jr. and Evan Mobley, the rookie for the Cleveland Cavaliers in the NBA, had some pretty good early games so far. I think Porter Jr. had like a 20-9 game. Mobley had a double-double and set some type of record as a rookie power forward center in his first game. I think he had like 9 rebounds, 6 assists, a block, and a steal. Somehow that's a record in the NBA, but he's the first one to ever do it, so that's pretty cool, I guess. So congrats to those guys. And then, yes, the NBA did some type of 75th anniversary thing where they remade pictures and stuff. It was kind of interesting that they made like an ex-Duke player, Jason Tatum, who's on the Celtics now, take a picture of Kobe Bryant for the Lakers. It was just kind of awkward and nice seeing him in a Lakers jersey finally. Don't think that's going to happen, but they also made LaMelo Ball, Lonzo Ball, who the Lakers had once, who's with the Hornets now, take a picture as Magic Johnson, one of those older pictures, and a lot of people are saying, oh, these are the Lakers' future, and these guys are going to be coming soon. I doubt that's going to happen, but it's nice wishful thinking. It's kind of cool to see, but yeah, it's definitely not going to happen for a while if it does. Then they did an NBA mock draft. A lot of Duke in the first round, especially at number 2 overall. Paolo Banchero, the more highly rated guy at Duke, went number 2 overall to the Orlando Magic. That was pretty cool. I think AJ Griffin went next, number 4, to the Sacramento Kings. So sucks having another Dookie get stuck in Sacramento. So hopefully that does not happen for him. Then Mykel Williams, the sophomore center, is going to Oklahoma City, which is a nice spot for him. They're somewhat of an up-and-coming team, but they kind of make a dumb trade here and there and take an older guy's contract and more draft picks, and then they don't really do anything with it. So hopefully it's a better situation once he gets there. Then the other talented freshman, shooting guard Trevor Keels, is going to the Atlanta Hawks. Once again, another Duke player going to the Hawks 3 straight years in a row. It's pretty interesting, but still haven't really seen him play against some good competition, so we'll see how he looks. And then both DJ Uiagalelei, yes, I somehow got that name out, and Elias Ricks, they were both ex-California high school players, both actual rivals of St. John Bosco and Mater Dei, but they decided to go out to other teams. Ricks went to LSU, and DJ went to Clemson, of course, because they were one of the hotter teams at the time. And surprisingly, USC did not go after him or try to recruit him, which is dumb because he was one of the talented players at the time. But as of right now, they're kind of looking maybe to transfer because DJ was actually benched the other day in his game. And I just know that quarterbacks like that, they're always wanting to go somewhere else, especially at home. So hopefully he would choose a place like USC, who once did not get him, but with a better coach, he might be swayed to go there. Same thing with Elias Ricks, because his coach is going to end up leaving at the end of the season, and most likely the guy who recruited him at his position as well. So he's probably going to look elsewhere, and hopefully it is back home at USC. I know they were his second choice, and it was a tough choice, so maybe that will happen for them. Let's hope. Then lastly, the Lakers beat the Memphis Grizzlies last night. I forget the score, but I know it was like around 3 points. Even with Ja Morant, the Memphis player, the young guy, getting like 40 points and keeping his team in the game. It's pretty much their only offense. And then also Carmelo Anthony, one of the older guys on the Lakers, off the bench, having 28 points, the most points for any Laker. Yeah, both LeBron and AD kind of struggled. I think LeBron almost had an injury as well. But he says he's going to be fine for Tuesday against the Spurs. And yeah, it was just a back and forth game. Their defense looks horrible. It's unlike the past couple years, but it's just weird how just losing like 2 or 3 main players ends up changing your defense so much, even though they have some talented guys, but they are missing like 3 to 4 good rotational players who would be playing at this time, but they're most likely playing their past 8 to 12 best players on their team right now. So it's not bad. First win of the season. It was against the West, so that's nice. Hopefully they get another West win against San Antonio, because they'll definitely need it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So thanks for watching, people. Like and subscribe. Comment down below. Let me know what y'all think. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.